Hello, everyone. Thank you once again for joining us on my green card story. My name is Apobola. On this channel, we talk about EB1A and EB2, and we interview people that have obtained the United States permanent residence card or green card through either EB1A or EB2 NIW. Also, I'd like to thank um, everyone that subscribed to this channel. Thanks so much for helping us to reach 1,000 subscribers. If you have been watching our videos and you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe so that we can reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of this year. That's our new goal. So in today's episode, I'm going to interview someone that we worked with about 2 years ago, and he just got his green card. He's going to tell us about his experience filing for EB2 NIW, the challenges he faced, and how he was able to overcome it. For instance, he had peer review publication in the oil and gas sector, on the oil and gas industry, whereas his proposed endeavor was on safety in the workplace. So he's going to explain to us how he was able to show that that evidence was still relevant to his proposed endeavor. So help me welcome Mr. Onas. Welcome to my green card story.
Thank you, Babola.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, like your first name? We don't need your surname, like your first name, the university you went to, the degree you obtained, and a little bit about your expertise. We don't need the exact name of the company that you work with. Just tell us what you do for a living.
So my name is Onas. I had my first degree in Nigeria. I went to Ladoke Akintola University of Technology. I studied mechanical engineering. After my first degree, I had to travel to the UK and I had a master's in petroleum engineering. Um, I worked in Nigeria. I returned to Nigeria, worked for a couple of years in the oil and gas sector. And after then, I decided to travel to the US to obtain my master's in engineering management. So I have two master's degree and one bachelor's degree. And
Okay.
Total, before I filed for my EB2, I had total of about 6 years work experience in different sectors, which include oil and gas, construction, and utility.
Okay. Awesome. So I remember that you decided to file for EB2 NLB in 2023, right?
2022, actually.
Wow, that's a long time. I can't even remember in
Yeah.
2022. So that was when you called me and you you wanted me to able to draft your petition cover letter. Okay, so then we spoke and I saw that 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 you had a very strong profile. So um I think we should just dive straight to the to your petition cover letter itself. So can you tell me a little bit about your proposal endeavor? What did you propose?
Yes. So like I said, I have experience in different industries.
Mm,
And one of the reasons why I had to reach out to Bobola was because of the variety of experience I had. I had different experience and different degrees. Now, the problem was how to merge my experience and to decide on a particular proposed endeavor. At the time, I was working as a safety specialist with a company. So I felt, and I was approaching my 1 year work experience. Prior to that, I had a 1.5 year safety engineering experience. So one of the reasons why I reached out to Bobola was because I needed him to counsel me on how to go about merging my diverse experience and to create a solid proposal endeavor. So I reached out to him sometime in 2022. And he told me, yes, that since I have the degree and the work experience here, that I had good profile. And at that time also, I had a publication, which was not in the safety field. I had actually had two publications. One was in oil and gas, and one was in automotive. So reaching out to Bobola, we talked about certain things and how we would go about it. And after speaking with him, I was convinced, because prior to speaking with him, I had been contemplating on how I can do it by myself for like 3 months. So speaking with him gave me that confidence, and then I was sure that I was ready to start.
Okay, great. So I remember that your purpose endeavor was on safety, like musculoskeletal
Disorder.
disorder, right?
Yes.
So why do you think addressing that disorder? Why do you think it has substantial merit and national importance?
Yes. So at the time, I was working in an industry where, like I said, I was working as a safety specialist, and I was working in an industry where they had a lot of injury related incidents based on musculoskeletal disorder. And so while doing a deep dive, I realized that it was not peculiar to that industry. Now, musculoskeletal disorder is a disorder that affects your back, your lower body, affects your skeletal system. So I did a deep dive, and I realized that in the United States that they had a lot of incidents that were related to this disorder. And I felt it was going to be a really, really good, a really, really good thing to work on. And that way I'll get a very, very good profile using a means to reduce the musculoskeletal disorder in workplaces.
Okay, yeah, awesome. So let's talk about the second prong of the matter of Danasa, which is the well position to advance in your proposed endeavor. So earlier on, you mentioned that you have published two peer review papers. So one thing that USS want to see is that, oh, you have I can say track record of experience or contribution or achievement in the area of your proposed endeavor. So I know that we try to do that as best as we can, but USS did not uh, uh, buy it. They feel that there was a disparity between the research findings that was published in the peer review publication and 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 your proposed endeavor. So can you? So I remember that obviously you got an RFE, and that was one of the things that they mentioned in the RFE. How how were you? I don't know whether actually how were you, because I actually worked with you to have the response for that quality. But can you remember the line of argument to show that there's actually a direct correlation between your peer review publication, the one on oil and gas and automotive, and the musculoskeletal disorder proposal endeavor?
Yeah, I would say my proposed endeavor was a little bit tricky because I wasn't just restricted to reducing musculoskeletal disorder in the workplace. I was also determined to reduce other safety incidents. So one of the reasons why I think I got the RFE was especially for the paper I wrote regarding the automotive industry. They wanted to see the correlation between that paper and what I was doing. So what I was able to do was to talk about the safety, because the paper was actually a material science based paper where we were trying to get better material for creating an automobile. So I had to talk about the safety reasons why that was important. So, like I said, I wasn't limiting my safety experience to just human body. I was also thinking about other things. I was also thinking about how the military can be safe through using the right material, how automobiles can be safe using the right materials. So I just did not limit myself to a box. I had to expatiate on how my proposed endeavor would be relevant to the safety of industries in America.
Okay. And I remember that for the second paper, which was the oil and gas paper, I think in that paper we address it from an analytical perspective, because I remember that in that paper you were trying to compute maybe the capacity of oil battery or oil tank or something like that, or oil refinery. So we're able to show that that analytical experience that you had in that research were transferable to your proposed endeavor on musculoskeletal disorder, because you tend to analyze the different complaints that people submit based on, let's say, the chairs that they use to sit at work, or maybe the tools that they they, they use to in their factories or warehouse, or maybe they need to take a certain position when conducting their work. So let's say someone is painting, or let's say someone is assembling a car together, and the person needs to stand up for long hours and also bend his or her head backward. So I remember that we were able to show that you collect all those data and analyze them. And so because of that, even though the peer review paper that I publish is on oil and gas, the experience and the expertise is still transferable to your post level on musculoskeletal disorder. I just said I should add that in case there are people out there just who are interested in things like that. Okay, so speaking of your RFE, beside the question that was raised concerning your peer review publication, what other questions did USCIS raised? Two other
Um,
questions.
so questions was that one, which was one, and then two, they requested that since I had that kind of profile, they were expecting to see additional references from independent sources.
Okay.
So the references I submitted were people I'd worked with previously.
Mm.
So I had to reach out to a couple of people in the industry. I reached out to a professor in one of the schools I had a seminar in. I also reached out to some people in the industries, and I was able to get, even though it took me a while, I was able to get additional three references.
Okay. I remember that one of those reference letters was from a firefighter. Can you tell us how that helped when you were responding to your request for evidence?
So the one from the firefighter was actually somebody I had worked with previously. Um, so I had one from somebody that had worked as a firefighter. I had one that was in the automotive industry. I had
Mm.
one from a professor. So that was the three I had. I think the one from the firefighter, like I actually worked with her, so she had seen some of the project I've worked with, and her talking about the things I had done, how they were impactful to the workplace, and how changes were seen and changes were made through the project. I think that really helped. And one other thing that I did, I actually did not tell Bobola about this, was I did a business plan.
Okay.
Now, I had to add a business plan because um, I felt there was an opportunity to create a safety project company in the US. So I did that, and then I did some analysis on how I was going to accomplish that and how I was going to implement it. And I think that also helped.
Okay. Great. So can you tell us other evidence that you turn in for your EB2 NIW petition besides your peer review published paper? Can you at least list like 4 or 5 evidence?
So my degree, I had to do also submit my transcripts. I submit letter of references. I think I had initially had 5 references. I did some certifications in safety, certifications in oil and gas. What else? Some publications that were relevant to my proposed endeavor. What else? I know it was a lot.
Okay.
A lot of documents, yeah. So those were some of the things I submitted.
Okay. So eventually, USCIS approved your petition for EB2 NIW, right?
So yes, I actually used premium processing because at the time I was approaching the end of my OPT. I think I had about 3 months left for my OPT to end, so I had to use premium processing. And the funny thing is, after I submitted, 2 weeks later I landed the RFE. And then that was when I reached out to you on how we were going to go about it. And I think we turned in the RFE about 2 or 3 weeks later.
Okay, so now let's talk about the timeline. When did you turn in your initial petition, the month and the year? When did you get the RFE, the month and the year? Then, if possible, when did you send in your the response to your RFE, the month and the year? Then, when did you get your approval, the month and the year?
So my initial petition, I think I turned that in, and my receipt, from what I got, I think I turned it in the week before February, because my receipt date was about February 23rd, my priority date. So I think I turned it in the week before February 23rd. So
2023 or 2022?
2023.
Okay.
2023 February. And then I got RFE about 14 days later.
Okay.
And then after RFE, worked on the RFE for about 2-3 weeks. Was it 2-3 weeks? I think it took a while actually.
Yeah, like 1 month.
Yeah, it took a while.
5 weeks.
It took a while because after I sent in my RFE, I sent it on a Friday, sometime in May, and on the Monday, the week after, it was approved.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was approved like May 2023.
2023, yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome. So I'm glad that your petition for EB2 NIW was approved. It was scary because that publication relating it to your proposal was very, very tight.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any advice for people who are currently working in the sector, whereas their educational background is in another sector, or maybe people that have evidence in one sector and they are trying to propose something else? What can they do? For example, we have people here in the US that study engineering. Some people have PhD, but they now work in the tech field. They have a job in the tech industry, and they want to file for EB2 NIW. And maybe their publications are on engineering design. And there are also people that maybe got an that degrees in, let's say, pharmacy or medicine or engineering or sciences, and they work with all these consulting and advisory. So how can they leverage what they have done, like their peer review publication, their award from that different field, for their proposed endeavor?
So yes, so one thing about mine was I had actually had experience in
Mm,
the field, my proposed endeavor. I had experience there, but I did not
mm,
have the education. Now,
mm.
I did some courses in safety, which does not necessarily count, but it was kind of different entirely from my basic education. So I think having that experience in that field matters. And as long as you have that experience and you're able to document your experience, and I think having a master's degree or higher, if it's PhD or a master's degree, I think that also helps. And another thing is the ability for you to be able to express your proposed endeavor. The US, like I said, have a lot of opportunities. So all you need to do is to mirror out how impactful your proposed endeavor will be to the United States. For me, it was really easy because I had already worked in the safety industry. So I knew the gaps, I knew where the opportunities were, and all I just needed to do was just to align it to my degree. And so if you're able to align whatever you have done, your experience to your degree, I think you're good to go.
Okay. Thank you so much. Last question. Can you tell us the role that my green card story played in helping you, in walking you through your EB2 NIW, specifically in drafting your petition cover letter and helping you to respond to your RFA?
Um, so before I contacted Bobola, I was actually going to do this on my own. And it was while I was doing it, trying to get, because I had heard about EB2 since 2021. I had a friend that had done it, so he gave me all the materials, was guiding me. But the problem I had was um, how to streamline my experience to the proposed endeavor. So reaching out to Bobola made that really easy for me. I know we had a couple of meetings. He made me bring a lot of materials. He made me do some work um, on getting relevant documents, getting relevant information with regards to the proposed endeavor. So I would say Bobola really helped in crafting all of the information that I needed for my EB2 NIW. He gave me a lot of counseling. He gave me a lot of ideas on how to go about it. Another thing was the timing. Now, one thing about my priority dates, I had a friend that we're doing it together. And it's really important, and I'm going to encourage everybody thinking of doing this to start it now. The best time to do it is now. My friend and I had priority dates that was 1 week, difference of 1 week. And his own priority date became current, I think, sometime in 2024, January. Just to show you the difference, his priority dates became current in January, and mine did not become current until June last year. So you can see the difference. So priority date difference of 1 week can take 1 or 2 months before they become current. So the best time to do it is right now.
Okay. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching this episode. Thank you, Mr. Onas, for allowing us to interview you. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you have any question, send us an email. Our contact information is in the description section of this video. So watch out for the concluding part of this interview. You will see it. It will be uploaded on our YouTube channel next week. Thank you so much. Bye.